These are the best attacks you can use for more 3 stars no matter your town hall level. Starting with the 5th best army, we have Super Miners. These are very strong troops that work between Town Hall 14 and Town Hall 17 for great success. It's an army that I heavily recommend, especially with the Royal Champion Charge being the best option right now. So in order to do this attack, we're going to be starting with the Royal Champion Charge. In this case, we're using the Rocket Spears to set up our initial part of the Royal Champion Charge. If you have the Haste Vial, this is where I would recommend using it. Other than that, we're going to start using our Invisibility spells every 4 seconds. This is going to allow us to keep the Royal Champion moving and clearing a pretty solid funnel for our Super Miners, clearing out plenty of other defenses in the process. Don't worry about turning certain defenses invisible, as you will still be able to remove them. Of course, sometimes it might not go to plan, but once your Royal Champion Charge has gotten enough, you can recall her out. This is where I would then recommend using your Barbarian King and Archer Queen on the other side. This is going to establish the other side of your funnel. This is why you want to have typically an Apprentice Warden to provide more HP, but also the Spiky Ball and Earthquake Boots from the Barbarian King, along with having the Queen with her Magic Mirror and Healer Puppets. This is going to get you great value in order to send in your Super Miners with the Royal Champion and Grand Warden into the base. I heavily recommend using an early heal spell with your Super Miners as they work across, and of course using the Grand Warden ability in order to protect everything. This way your Queen could clear the Town Hall possibly and create more pathing, while having the Super Miners and the Royal Champion and the Grand Warden still moving through. Having a rage spell on the back end can definitely help, and of course having that healing tome is going to provide so much value for your attack. You also have the battle drill for an army like this, where you can get plenty of great value as it is able to stun defenses and it can provide additional Super Miners if it is taken down early. Other than that, you should have more than enough troops and more than enough time to easily clean up and 3-star any base. At number 4 is the Electro Titan Smash. This is something that can work really well between Town Hall 14 and Town Hall 17, and it's really dang strong, but it does still use the Royal Champion Charge to set a good funnel. Now, as for this attack, we're going to be starting with the Royal Champion Charge. Of course, we're not going to be using the abilities, as we want to make sure that the Electro Boots are just applying constant damage to defenses while the Royal Champion works between them, creating a really solid funnel. We do want to save her Hog Puppet ability for later in the attack, so this is why we're just using her to set up a funnel. This way, once she clears more than enough defenses, we can then just recall her out. We can then use a couple Super Barbarians on the same side in order to cut off that side of our funnel, where we can then use the Archer Queen with the Siege Barrack. Now, you can either use the Magic Mirror or you can use the Giant Arrow with the Healer Puppets, especially if there are Invisibility spell towers in the core of the base. This is going to allow your Queen to still set up a funnel and also get great value by activating those spell towers. Other than this, you've got your Electro Titans, Barbarian King, and Grand Warden to start working into said core. This is going to allow you to use a couple balloons to protect your healers from seeking air mines, and as you work into the core of the base, you do also want to have either your Royal Champion move in with them or move in with the Queen. Otherwise, you want to use an early rage spell to power through, and once you get to the core, you should use the Grand Warden's Eternal Tome. This is going to allow you to also use your Barbarian King's ability to open up the base and clear out multiple buildings, while also still protecting your Electro Titans with the Healing Tome and Eternal Tome. Of course, you do want to use skeleton trap or skeleton spells in order to distract single target infernos, monoliths, etc. Overall, this is really going to help, especially with any free spells that you might have, as you do want to use the Hog Puppets over on the back end of the base. This is going to protect your Royal Champion and get her a lot of great value in the process. Other than that, just make sure you have some form of cleanup with any remaining Super Barbarians and any Minions, and you should be good for a super simple 3-star. Of course, we have to include the Mass Dragon Mass Invisibility attack, since it works incredibly well between Town Hall 14 and Town Hall 17, and instead of using the Rocket Spear, we can use a Haste File with this. So to kick things off, we're going to be starting with the Royal Champion Charge. What a shocker. We're going to be using our invisibility spells every 4 seconds, especially since in this case, we don't have the Spirit Fox. But if you do have the Spirit Fox, this can get you some great value in the process. Otherwise, you just want to make sure that you are clearing multiple defenses, and you shouldn't be afraid to turn certain defenses invisible, which is really going to help speed up that Royal Champion charge since the Electro boots do constant damage. Overall, you do want to make sure though that you use the haste vial a little bit later on. This is going to net you some great value as you can basically clear out multiple defenses very quickly. This is going to save you some great time. So that way you can get plenty of defenses down, maybe even an enemy hero, and this is also going to set up great funneling for your attack. Though once your Royal Champion runs out of spells, run the Archer Queen on a corner to clear at least one air defense. This is also going to help create the funnel with the healer puppets being there, alongside just having that giant arrow to clear out additional structures. Other than this, you'll want to use a couple dragons on the other side in order to help create the funnel there, which is going to help control your dragons into the base. I do recommend taking at least 2 healers in this army comp though to help your queen stay alive, because it is very important for the queen to stay alive for most of the attack. Other than this, we have our mass dragons working in with the Minion Prince, and you can either use the Stone Slammer or the Battle Blimp. In this case, we use the Grand Warden's Eternal Tome to protect the Battle Blimp to get right into the Town Hall compartment and clear that. This allows the dragons to not have to worry about the Town Hall poison, and the Minion Prince provides great support with his Dark Orb. This is going to allow our dragons to easily overwhelm plenty of defenses, and once they clear towards the back end, we really won't have too much left. With a final remaining air defense, we can easily clear that with any of our leftover dragons and the Minion Prince, of course, while we go between different defenses and buildings. Other than that, this army really doesn't take all too much, and you will be able to secure a 3-star more often than not with this strategy. Of course, in the number 2 spot, we have to include the Fireball Super Witches. Despite the nerf to the Fireball at lower Town Halls, this is still great for anywhere up to Town Hall 17, and instead of using healers, we're actually going to be running druids. So to keep things really simple, we're going to be starting with the use of the Grand Warden to help set a funnel. Now, because we're not using any healers with this, we don't want to use any of the druids, and we just want to rely on our unicorn. This allows us to use 3 invisibility spells in order to get the fireball into a particular area of the base. This is going to clear great value for our entire attack. I know I've said value a lot, but that is exactly what you're getting with something like this. You then want to also use the queen on the other side with her magic mirror in order to cut off that side. You can then use a recall spell to actually pull the warden and put him with your super witches very easily. This allows you to basically start moving in with your super witches with the barbarian king and druids. You also have the archer queen to continue to set a great funnel for you. Now in this case, I'm running the troop launcher. This is particularly strong because you can throw out ice golems, which are truly going to help your super witches. Additionally, making sure to have the druids being used every so often to get the most out of their healing is what you want to do. And underneath both a rage spell or rage gem, they're going to be getting insane value. You can also have the jump spell to open up the core of the base, even if your king doesn't go with your super witches. You can use him to kind of help clear a bunch of other defenses. Other than that, you want to make sure that you're just using your rage spells every so often to boost the healing from your druids and the damage from your super witches. You've also got the royal champion on the back end, where you can use a couple druids, of course, in order to keep her healed and moving through the back end of the base, where you can have things like the hog puppets to help clear out remaining defenses. Other than that, this strategy is incredibly strong, and with the troop launcher, you can throw out ice golems and provide even more survivability. This is really just an overkill strategy and one of my personal favorites, and it's also just proves that druids aren't dead. And arguably the best attack right now in the game is the root riders with the minion prince. This is my personal favorite strategy as it's incredibly strong and super versatile, and it works between Town Hall 15 and Town Hall 17. So in order to start with this attack, you're going to be running a Royal Champion charge, but you're going to be using the Haste Vial first. This is going to allow you to clear out additional defenses, and if you have the Spirit Fox, it can definitely help with timing. Other than that, just don't be afraid to turn these defenses invisible to allow your Electro Boots to do damage over time. Other than that, you can go in for things like the Town Hall, but you will have to be quick with your invisibility spells. Overall, you want to clear a plethora of defenses to create a funnel, where you can also have a couple Super Barbarians in order to help set up that side, clearing out trash buildings, while you've got the Archer Queen and the Siege Barrack to go into another compartment. Using a couple Super Barbarians can actually help get those troops into the base more consistently. Other than that, once your queen is really in there, she has Frosty, which is going to slow down defenses, and you obviously have the Magic Mirror and Healer Puppets to do plenty of work clearing out additional buildings. This allows you to actively set the funnel for your Root Riders to be sent in with the Valkyries, the Grand Warden, the Prince, balloons, healers, etc. This is going to allow you to have a large push in, of course, having the Royal Champion to boot. You obviously just want to make sure that you are able to deal with a bunch of defenses, so having the Minion Prince ability to slow down, freeze to stop something like a Rage Spell Tower, and of course you do still have the Grand Warden, but this time with his Eternal Tome and Healing Tome. This is going to protect everything. This will include things like the healers, the Root Riders, the Valkyries, the Prince, the Royal Champion, etc. You just have a large push moving in, and realistically your free spells can be used to stop high DPS defenses, including something like the multi-gear tower on cannon mode. This is just going to allow you to have a lot of great survivability with your entire attack, and if you can really keep the Royal Champion moving through, especially having the Spirit Fox, you're more than often going to be able to 3-star with this strategy. It's one of my personal favorite attacks, and it just ceases to amaze me on how strong this is, despite the Minion Prince being an air hero. But this can work incredibly well for really good 3-stars. Each of these attacks are just incredibly simple and easy to perform while being incredibly strong no matter your town hall level. But of course, if you need help on any of the attacks I have here, consider checking out one of the videos I have on screen in order to help you get more 3-stars.